I'm going to show you 7 ways that the movie Interstellar highlights dealing with sadness productively versus unproductively. Dealing with emotions like sadness productively helps us resolve them and move on, whereas dealing with them unproductively can keep us stuck in them, and they can continue to show up throughout our lives. I'm Dr. Narayan Singh, and in this episode of EFT Psychologist, I'm going to show you a scene in which the main character, Cooper, just got back from a mission on another planet and learned that more than 2 decades have passed, and the children he left behind on Earth are now adults. Let's take a look at 4 ways Cooper deals effectively with his sadness. First, he's allowing himself to fully feel this emotion without trying to stop it. You can tell he's allowing his feelings to come and go by how his feeling shows up initially as delight and joy slowly changes into sadness as the reality hits him. You can also see it here how that initial wave of sadness seems to have passed, but he's still kind of in a state of painful calm. And even here, when he sees his daughter and her struggle, he's even more sad. So Cooper's allowing the natural ebb and flow of his emotions without trying to change or stop it. Second, Cooper shows that he can manage this feeling. He can handle feeling it. Cooper is overcome with emotion without being overwhelmed by it. The emotion is strong, but it's not too strong for him to be able to handle it. This is really important. It's kind of like the Goldilocks zone of feeling emotions in order to effectively process them. An emotion needs to be activated enough in order to have something to process through, but it needs to be not so intense that a person is falling apart, overwhelmed by it, distressed by it, to where they can't handle it anymore, and they're kind of losing their grip on the present moment. This part also shows us how he's able to handle feeling his emotion. So here, he still seems present. He's not zoning out, he's not trembling or shaking or breathing heavy with distress. You can still kind of feel him in the room that he's in. But now he looks like he's in the state of painful calm. Third, Cooper isn't reacting to this emotion with another emotion. I'm going to give you some examples here of what emotions Cooper could have reacted to his sadness with that wouldn't have been helpful for him dealing with the sadness. So he could have gotten angry and blamed himself or someone else for this situation. He could have said, "Screw the people who sent me on this mission." He could have felt ashamed about his sadness. Let's say if he was afraid his crewmates could overhear him and may criticize him. Or in another case, if he had learning experiences throughout his life where he learned the message that expressing or feeling sadness was weakness. Or he could have felt hopeless and he could have given up and resigned. He could have said, "What's the use? This mission is pointless." Or he could have felt anxious about the impact of this sadness on his mission, saying like, "I better not feel this because it's going to throw me off. It's going to make me lose my focus and me and my crewmates could be in jeopardy." So these are some examples of how a second emotion would have gotten in the way of Cooper effectively dealing with his main sadness. But he didn't do any of this. He's just feeling his main emotion. Fourth, he's expressing his emotion congruently. So the third point lends itself really well to this fourth point. You can see that Cooper is feeling one main thing, and he is expressing that main thing. We're not getting mixed messages from him. What he is feeling on the inside, he is showing on the outside. That is congruence. And that's really helpful for him to be able to congruently ask for help meeting this need, or to signal to others what they might be able to do to help him. There are some limitations to this. He's in this room by himself. That could add an element of him feeling more emotionally safe to deal with this emotion by himself. If there was someone else present, it really could change that. Maybe he would express things less congruently, less intensely. Who knows? Also, this emotion is fresh. The situation he just learned of, and the emotion that's coming up, it just hit him. But he's still dealing with it productively. Next, I want to show you how Cooper's daughter Murph is not dealing with her sadness productively, so it's keeping her stuck. First, Murph is holding back her emotion. She is not allowing herself to feel it.
Today's my birthday, and it's a special one because you told me you once told me that when you came back we might be the same age.
I think her main emotion here is likely sadness. If we think of the context, her dad left her behind on Earth. She is likely feeling sad about being abandoned, and she doesn't know if he's alive or dead. So there could also be grief. She's not allowing her emotion here. She's turning away from the camera and even turning off the recording when her emotion gets stronger. And throughout this, you can also see her swallow multiple times.
I never made one of these when you were just so mad at you for leaving.
This is something people do when they're trying to kind of get rid of a sensation that's linked with a feeling inside. So figuratively and literally, she could be trying to swallow her sadness, which is a way of trying to avoid it, not allow it, not feel it. Second, Murph is covering up her emotions with other emotions. Even though I think her main emotion is sadness, she's showing more anger.
You son of a bitch. I never made one of these when you were still responding because I was so mad at you for leaving. Seemed like I should live with that decision, and I have.
And on top of that, she's even trying to force a smile as maybe even a way to try to cover up the anger that seems to be covering up the sadness.
Hey, Dad.
So this isn't helpful because the anger is more likely pushing others away and pushing her emotions away when the exact opposite is actually needed. Third, she's showing an incongruent expression of her emotions. Because of Murph's covering up an emotion with another emotion, trying to not allow her emotions, trying to seem unaffected, she's sending mixed messages. This doesn't help her clearly know what she needs or be able to clearly get help from others about what she's needing. Now I want to reimagine what Murph could have done differently to more effectively process through this sadness. In my opinion as a therapist, Murph would really benefit from seeing a therapist to help her sort through which emotion is which and what they're trying to tell her. So to help Murph transform these feelings, an EFT therapist might have led her through an intervention called an empty chair dialogue. In this dialogue, the person imagines talking to someone who is significant for them, and then the therapist guides the person to figure out and explore what they feel and to be able to express that fully and find out what it is that they need or needed from that person and didn't get. And this is important because this process would help Murph identify the unique impact of the abandonment on her, because then she can find out specifically what she needs in order to feel better and resolve that feeling. Next, I think it would have been important for her to deal with her grief, because she doesn't really know if her dad is alive or dead. And after more than 20 years, a part of her might already be grieving the idea, my dad could be dead. For a lot of people, grief signals the need for comfort and support from others, to be able to let go of the thing that was lost, find acceptance for it, and to be able to move on with one's life without that thing anymore. So maybe she could have expressed it in this video like, Dad, I felt so crushed when you left. I felt like I wasn't lovable enough for you to stay here and be with me. And I can't keep feeling that way because I just need to feel like I'm loved and lovable and worth sticking around for. And also, I'm haunted by the idea that I've lost you already. I've been holding on to you, but I know I need to let you go. I need to say goodbye to you, because to keep living like this and holding on when it wrecks me inside like this is so painful. I'm not able to function to help the people that remain here on Earth. So I have to let you go, and I have to say goodbye, Dad. I love you and goodbye. So these are the 7 ways Interstellar shows us differences between dealing with sadness productively and unproductively. And then I showed you an example of how Murph could have more effectively processed through her sadness. So if you like understanding the meaning behind moment-by-moment shifts in emotion, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and click on notifications so you find out as soon as a new video comes out. If you're a therapist and you want to elevate your therapeutic skills, click the link in the description to join me for an upcoming EFT training. And as my thanks for you watching to the end of this video, use the promo code EFT20 to get $20 off the next training you attend with me. I'm Dr. Narayan Singh. I'll see you next time on EFT Psychologist.